I'm Patrick King, and this is SYNTHWAVE ULTRA. Today's guest has one of the most unique hooks in synthwave, the soundtrack to the best 80s primetime TV shows you've never heard of, starring a vampire. With styles and tones ranging from gritty cop action to teen romantic dramas to straight-up haunted house horror, he's always got a trick up his friendly sweater sleeve that's sure to thrill. My guest today is Vampire StepDad. Yeah, so we're here with Vampire StepDad. So I guess we can just hop right in. So how did you get started into the whole synthwave retrowave thing?
I heard a Carpenter Brute song on a YouTube video of these little remote control cars running around and exploding, and it was set up like an action movie. It was really great, and I was like, the music in the background is amazing. Where is that from? And found that, and I think that was right around EP number 3, before the trilogy came out, and listened to Carpenter Brute like nonstop for like a month. And then I realized that, like, oh, there's other people out there that make music like this. And as soon as I realized it was like a thing, I was like, all right, well, I guess I need to get on board with this. And that's when I started making music.
Nice.
So, well, when I started making synthwave music specifically. So yeah, that was about 5 years ago, a little more than 5 years ago. So yeah.
Yeah, very cool. I mean, Carpenter Brute was definitely one of, like, I feel like that he was one of the early artists that got me into it as well. Because I think Trilogy had come out when I was getting into it. But yeah, I mean, his stuff is so cool because it's such a cool crossover of like synth and like 80s metal and like slasher movies and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And for me, like, I mean, he's often considered darker, and but the thing that always got me with him is just his sense of melody is just fantastic. And so some people are kind of surprised that Carpenter Brute was my first inspiration, since he's kind of known for the darker stuff, but yeah, I'm a sucker for a good melody, so
Yeah, I know that's definitely a good way to look at it, because your stuff definitely has I guess more of just kind of like that classic synth sound. I mean, that is one of the things that I really like about it too. We can kind of get into that as well. You have those handful of albums that are basically like TV show soundtracks.
Yeah. I like a good theme, and for me, it was 80s TV shows that really kind of inspired Vampire StepDad. So that was kind of a natural avenue to go down.
Yeah. So how did you come up with the whole like Vampire StepDad persona? Because like I like how you have like even like kind of like branding and stuff set up. Because I was going through your site, and I like how you have like little stickers and logos, and like the Christmas card where it's Vlad with his little cup of hot chocolate in front of the fireplace. Like I just thought that was like, it's silly, and it's living out, like it's very much in fitting with the whole Vampire StepDad thing. So how did that persona come about?
Well, the name came about from kind of thinking about TV shows and stuff, and weird family units, which were popular in the 80s. My Two Dads, and Full House and stuff like that, where they were playing with the family unit a lot. And Vampire StepDad came about, and I just like the idea of a friendly, wholesome monster, I guess. And actually, I'd say that actually came a little bit later. Like at first it was just kind of Vampire StepDad, and you've got this avatar, and whatever, it sounds like an 80s TV show. Great. And it wasn't until later that I started noticing people responding very much, very positively with the, are you my new dad kind of thing. And that really kind of made me realize that it could be a lot more than just, a music project, and the relationships that could be built from that and stuff could be more important, I guess, than just, making music. So, because, I, kind of ran into a lot of people, specifically LGBTQIA folks who may have not had a really good parent figure in their life, or a family, come from a rougher family setting, and they're kind of, they're looking for their chosen family, and we're really fortunate to be that for a lot of people.
Oh, cool.
Or to be part of that for a lot of people. So yeah, I'm kind of an optimist about things, and I can be optimistic to a fault sometimes. I've always seen Vampire StepDad as a chance to put a little positivity out there, and spin, and well, maybe spin's the wrong word, but trying to look on the bright side of things. And so it's just kind of always been it's been a little bit of a natural thing, but it also helps me. It's been beneficial to me a lot, because there are times where I just want to throw out a hot take or complain about something or whatever, and then I'm like, well, this is Vampire StepDad, let's keep it positive, and in a way that's kind of taught me that, when I'm in a bad mood, or when I can only see negativity, it's taught me to be like, well, what's the positivity in this? And so
yeah,
it's been hugely helpful for myself as well. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because that's so in going through like your Bandcamp and discography and stuff. I what really stood out to me, and I guess kind of coming off of that, with you had the tagline for The Sun Also Sets of your suburban surrogate father monster. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
just that phrase just sounded just like suburban surrogate father monster just sounds really funny. And but yeah, because it's just one of those things where like it's so absurd, but then like you said, like it's done with such like this like earnest wholesomeness to it that like it's fun. Like it's like
Yeah.
it's fun in that it's silly, but it's also fun in that like it's actually really nice too. And that's really cool what you're saying, how like you've been able to connect with folks like that. Like you said, like brings some happiness and joy into the world when in a lot of cases there isn't. So no, that's super cool.
Yeah, it's been really good. So
yeah, well, cool. So who are, I mean, you mentioned Carpenter Brute was kind of like your entry into synth. Like who are some of your big influences and inspirations?
I think probably when I was first like okay, I want to make this kind of music. Jan Hammer, of course, from Miami Vice. Who doesn't want to sound like Jan Hammer? Or at least I do. That I really liked some of Harold Faltermeyer's stuff. All the Beverly Hills Cop stuff, of course, but also like Running Man, just an amazing score in that one. And then more of your Howard Jones and your Naked Eyes and your more 80s synth pop stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that as well. But yeah, I mean, as far as other synthwave artists, I've loved the Midnight for a long time. I think since what was it, Days of Thunder. They were an early one, and then kind of a series of smaller artists who some have stuck around, some haven't. And Danger Mode was an early one that I really enjoyed. But yeah, kind of just a lot of the names most people know, but I've also really enjoyed some of the in my dealings with people on the internet and talking about making synthwave and stuff like that, making friends and stuff like that. Some smaller artists who've only put out a few releases or whatever, but yeah.
Yeah, very, very cool. Because yeah, like that's one of the things that I feel like it's brought up pretty regularly, is how just the synthwave scene is very community oriented. Yeah. It's really cool how like people can be like really supportive. So like people are always putting stuff out there, and usually people will get like positive feedback. So like, because of that, people can like grow off each other and like develop their own style and sound. I mean, clearly clearly you have with your with like your I mean, not all of your stuff has that TV soundtrack style to it, but like you do have this real like cinematic, almost like concept record for all of your stuff sound. So yeah, like that's really cool. And I like too what you're saying, how like a lot of your big influences are specifically like 80s score composers.
Yeah. I've always loved that. I've always chased after that idea of, making music that makes people feel stuff. And so, yeah, film score stuff has always been, fascinating to me. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So I know, so you're down in Atlanta, like, because I talked to Gregorio Franco recently, like, I know, like, he was like, because I like him and Watch Out for Snakes and you, and like, there's some other folks in the Atlanta scene. So how has that been working out? Like, have you been able to like collaborate with folks since there's a reasonable amount of folks down there?
Yeah, the Atlanta scene's amazing. Gregorio Franco is an awesome dude. He looks big and tough, but he's a huge teddy bear. I love him. Matt from Watch Out for Snakes is doing a lot for live synthwave and chiptune stuff down here with Terminus Retrowave. The bands that are active around here, Saoirse, Frisky Monkey, System 96, they're all awesome people. And I think I think the coolest thing about it is like when we put a show together, it's so awesome to see how, because I've been in bands for 25 plus years, and especially coming from like the metal scene where you show up and the venue treats you like they don't even want you there, and the other bands treat you like you're their competition, and never the twain shall meet, and then you look at a show that Matt puts together, and we're all early and we're all helping set up and put together the stage, and we're all making it happen together, and so it's just this huge like teamwork thing, and people show up and they're all just super excited to hear some good music and have fun. And the Atlanta scene is super positive and constructive, and I will never take it for granted, because I've been in being in metal bands around Atlanta, I really felt like Atlanta was very fickle, because Atlanta gets all the giant touring acts come through Atlanta, of course, and so locals are kind of like, local music, who cares, you're not as good as Mastodon or whatever. So I'd seen a lot of that lack of care for local people, but with synthwave, the fan base is there, and they're supportive, and they're eager to go out and support bands, and Atlanta's awesome. Ghost Host just made his way back. Excited to see him again, and it's a great place to be. And I really love that Matt from Watch Out for Snakes and now Terminus Retrowave is working so hard to bring outside folks into Atlanta, and kind of show them how it's done. So it's great. I love the people here, and our scene is I feel truly gifted to be part of this scene, for sure.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, because I know there was because I like Terminus Retrowave, like that's been everything I've been hearing about that is that he's just been doing a great job of it, and it's been growing like exponentially. I mean, like you're saying, like bringing folks from outside. Like I remember it was such a big deal that Primo came through there recently, because I mean, I know she's over in Austin, and she's awesome. She's gotten pretty big herself, and like I was seeing like videos and clips and stuff from of like not only folks performing, but also like you said too, just folks just hanging out, like reconnecting and having a good time. And that's I guess that kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, just how with Synthwave, like it is a very positive, constructive scene. Like I mean, granted, like there's always going to be like online drama for one reason or other, but that's really cool that it's that's doing so well like that. So kind of coming off of the Terminus thing, like that's also great too, that like live music is slowly but surely coming back. So I know you've done some of the the online streaming stuff like Synth Valley and all that. So
Mhm.
how has your experience been with doing like online streaming shows?
I was really glad I did it, and I think it's amazing that, well, I mean, especially like the work that Starfarer was doing to put together Synth Valley was amazing, and it was awesome to see, the people come together and the people online who are so excited to, even if it's just, watching a streaming video and talking in a chat room, people are still so excited to get together and spend time with each other any way they can. I think the downside of it is it's a lot of work. A lot of things can go wrong, which if you saw my first Synth Valley performance, you'd see that on display. And ultimately, it's hard playing to a camera, and you can do everything you can to imagine the people out there, but I've always said there's always a post-show slump. You go out, you play a show, you have a ball, you see people, it's amazing, it's awesome. Then the next day you're like, so it's 10 times worse with online streaming stuff. It's a lot of work. And then it's kind of like, as soon as you're like, thanks everybody, and you hit stop, you're just like, like it's just so yeah, I mean, I think it was super cool. I got to see bands I would probably never get to see otherwise. It was really awesome to see the creativity that some people came up with in those shows, the different ways that they differentiated themselves and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I love seeing that creativity and the people, putting the work in to, try and make something special and trying to learn how to do a new thing, which, man, learning how to stream a show it's quite an undertaking, so props to everyone who figured out how to do it. But yeah, I mean, I think it was really, really cool. It's probably not something that, I mean, I definitely don't have any plans on continuing a lot of that, but it's nice to know that if I need to, I can. So yeah, but yeah, I'm glad that I did it. Mm-hmm. But I'm not super looking forward to doing it again.
yeah. That's the thing too, because like I have talked to some folks about that. Yeah, I kind of like echo the same sentiment where it was really cool to do, but it was also like a huge it was a lot of time and effort going into it, and like expenses and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I can definitely see like the trade-offs there. I mean, because like I said, on the one hand you get to perform and everything, but on the other hand it's like you don't have that like interactivity with the crowd, which is kind of which, I mean, that's tough. Part of the experience. So
yes, very much.
Yeah. So let's see. So I know you've done some touring with Vampire StepDad, right?
Just the tiniest little bit. I've really only been to Orlando and to Chattanooga, Tennessee. So yeah, just this tiniest little bit. That was my plan for 2021, or 2020 was supposed to be the year of getting around the country. I really wanted to try and hit the four corners of the U.S. at the very least. And then I can't remember exactly what stopped me from doing that, but something prevented me from traveling across the country in 2020. But
who knows?
So yeah, that is definitely kind of my next avenue. I really want to get out there. I want to play in front of new audiences, and yeah, that's my hope to do. So it's just kind of about, I'm still a little wary of playing inside venues, but hopefully more positive change will come, and it'll get safer and safer. And I definitely want to get out there and bring my music to as many people as I can find. So yeah.
Well, here, I mean, hopefully, here's hoping things calm down and continue to calm down, because I know we kind of had that false start back in the spring. It's like, oh yeah, vaccine's cool, and it's like, oh wait, here comes the variants. So
yeah.
Well, so you mentioned some past projects. So like, what kind of other like bands and stuff have you you been in?
I mean, long time ago, my very first band was just a little pop punk band. Sang about girls a lot. Then from then on, it was pretty much metal bands. I was in a death metal band. I did a little bit of everything in that one. I did drumming, and then I did vocals, and then later was in a band called Undead Viking Mafia.
That's cool.
And yeah, they're awesome dudes. That was a doom metal band, and they're still kicking around here in Atlanta. Or well, they were pre-pandemic. Who knows what happens? That's one of the things that like breaks my is like thinking about how many of the bands out there who were like, putting their time in, practicing, playing shows and blah blah, and then they go like a year and a half without being able to practice, and then they kind of move on, and that time of their life is over now, and it breaks my heart to think how many bands like put up the towel, hung up their hat because of all this. So I don't know, but maybe that's why there's such a boom of bedroom producers like myself these days. So but yeah, so yeah, mostly metal bands, a little bit of punk, but yeah, all the big loud stuff.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's a really interesting too, because it seems like a lot of folks in SynthWave kind of like have a background like previously, or can continue to just still have that metal metal background to it. Because I've talked to some folks who exactly the same. They have they worked in metal bands, whether as like production or like actual like playing and all that, or they still do. I mean, like going back to Gregorio Franco. I mean, I remember when I was talking to him about his latest album Agony, how like that's just it's a straight up death metal album, but like it's all synthesized. So like it's interesting how folks like combine those. And like going back to Carpenter Brute, Leatherteeth was like that was like his like homage to like 80s hair metal, which was super fun.
Yeah. I think the metal connection is just that metalheads are used to like niche music with like very dense aesthetics. Like if you think about metalheads, well, long hairs and leather jackets, and I mean, obviously there's different different look for every genre.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it's you can pick out the metalhead on the sidewalk, except for like the folk metal guys. They're always they're IT dudes or whatever. But anyways, but then so then synthwave comes along, and it's this niche thing, and it's huge aesthetics and all that stuff. So it's kind of like, yeah, sure, let's do this now. So yeah, I can totally see the crossover appeal. So yeah,
Yeah, that's it. Interesting too. I guess I hadn't really thought about that, because like I mean I like a lot of metal myself. I like death metal, power metal, stuff like that. And I guess I hadn't realized that is that there is the big overlap in just like how like big it all sounds. Because like
exactly.
Yeah, because like with death metal, I mean, I love like Allegiant, Amon Amarth, stuff like that. Like it sounds huge. And then the same thing with synthwave. It's just this like rich, dense sound. And I guess never realized that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think it's also it's a little bit tongue in cheek. Like metal is extreme and a little campy. I know some of us take ourselves real seriously, but it's ridiculous. We have giant monsters on the album covers and all this kind of stuff, which is friggin' great.
Yeah.
But so it's same with synthwave. It's very it's tongue in cheek. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be as 80s as I can be, or what. It's just kind of So yeah, I think it just has that kind of similar appeal. So
yeah, exactly. I mean that's one of the things I especially love about power metal, is just how like it's very tongue in cheek. It's very self-aware. It's how like thoroughly I mean even like older stuff, like you listen to like Dio, I think some like Holy Diver. Diver is cheesy as hell, but it's so cool and so just grand. It's just epic.
Yeah. It's awesome. Yeah, man. Yeah. It's all fantasy novel stuff. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So I guess, yeah, I guess kind of coming back to that with just like the whole grandiose things. Like I know we touched on a little bit. So where'd you get the ideas for some of your concept albums? I mean, like Night Shift is really cool just because it's like vampire cop and like a Martin Riggs type character, and just like how did those ideas come about?
Well, I've always loved the idea that that Vampire StepDad isn't necessarily like a specific person, but is more like a concept. Like if you're not careful, anybody could end up with a vampire stepdad. You know, and that's why, like, you know, between Sweater Weather and Love Bites, you know, there's the 2 TV commercial plays in the front, you know, the Thursday at 7 stuff, well, and also obviously a Night Shift, and how they don't really relate to each other. Like, you know, the Vlad Lugosi of Love Bites isn't necessarily the Officer Lugosi in Night Shift, you know? And so it's just kind of always, you know, trying to think of like, of the weird, you know, mashup TV shows from the 80s, you know, like you got a cop and your new partner's a robot, you know, or whatever, just all this weird stuff. You know, you're a suburban family and there's an alien that lives with you now, you know, he loves to eat cats, you know, just ridiculous crap like that. And so it's just kind of funny to try and shoehorn the vampire tropes into the, you know, cop tropes and stuff. And I mean, really what it came from the music, because, you know, loving like Harold Faltermeyer and stuff like that. I love that, you know, that score and the, you know, the cop movie, the buddy cop movie kind of thing. And I was writing music that kind of felt more action oriented. And it was like, all right, so, you know, a suburban, you know, TV family sitcom thing doesn't work with this, you know, action oriented music. So what does? And, you know, so then I'm like, oh, like a cop thing. And then I just kind of pour over buddy cop movies and stuff like that, you know, and for Night Shift, I really kind of, just dove into that, and because that was really the first time where rather than like writing a bunch of songs and then going like, okay, these fit together and they have this feeling, so this is what the album will be, that was the first time where I was like, all right, I want to write a bunch of songs that feel like this. That was kind of a creative challenge for me, to try and you know, rein in the creativity to make a specific thing. And so, yeah, so that's how that came about, you know, and then just, you know, coming up with a Thursday at 7 play thing for it, and getting friends to do other voices and stuff like that. So, yeah, that was just, you know, good, clean fun, you know? So.
Yep. Well, yeah, because I remember the first time I listened to those, and like I heard the Thursday at 7 bit, I'm like, this is brilliant, just because like because yeah, like you're saying, it's very tongue in cheek and very, very silly, but like it sets the tone, you know, like like, oh, this is an 80s cop drama with obviously the vampire twist to it. So yeah, I think, I mean, and those that element really like adds to it, and just because I was talking about that on Twitter earlier today, how there's that like world building in music, because I know, like, because like I was specifically referring to Volcor X. He put out a like the remix album, like in between each song there's basically like spoken bits where it's like, you know, like it's like Volcor X invading the earth, but then like it would like dovetail into the next song. It's where if like the next song was done by like Street Cleaner, so it's like, yes, now we need to clean up the streets or something like that. So yeah, so having those kind of elements like really brings it together, and like, and yeah, like it makes it like it makes you want to listen to the whole album all in one go.
Yeah. I think you know, I mean, it's another way to kind of differentiate yourself as well. And yeah, it's just fun. I think a lot of the people that end up becoming, you know, solo artists, self-producing people, are people who, you know, kind of have their hands in a little bit of everything. So yeah, like, you know, they also want to write a script, and they also want to, you know, make a little movie and stuff. So yeah, I think a lot of us are just kind of, you know, playing with the different things we want to play with. And so, you know, yeah, we're all just trying to do everything ourselves, which totally works out great all the time, but whatever, you know.
But yeah, of course, you know, nothing bad ever came from stretching yourself in a dozen different directions.
Yeah, having to do everything yourself. Yeah, that's a lot of this comes from wanting to be in control of everything, and then the downside is that you have to do everything. So yeah,
no,
every time I have to design a CD cover and stuff, I'm like, oh, there's so many panels on a CD holder. It's ridiculous. I got a back panel, I got an inside panel, I got a front panel. It's like, come on. That's why I always pick the CD tray is always black, because I don't want to have to come up with more art for behind the CD. So it's just like, I'm a musician, not a graphic designer.
That's great. Well, that's one of the things too that I really like about SynthWave is the whole like DIY aspect, because like it is very DIY. I mean, like you said, like you're doing everything yourself, and like there's something really cool about that. I feel like it's very like creatively fulfilling, and that like this is like your vision.
Yeah. As long as I have a decent vision to do, but you know.
Oh yeah.
But I also really enjoy, I've several of my covers I've worked on other people, and it's really awesome to be able to take the money that people have given me for my music, and I can turn around and give that to another artist for their art, and it's kind of like the circle of life of like patronizing the arts. It's fantastic.
Nice.
It's like, this is how the world should work. So yeah, I'm always very thankful of my supporters, and kind of effusively praising them for hey, the fact that you guys pay more than my asking price for this stuff means I get to do this, so thank you. And so yeah, the occasional times that I can let things go enough to let somebody else make album art or something, it's paid off. So yeah.
Plus it adds to the whole Vampire StepDad mythos. I mean, like just like looking through your online store where you have like the cute little bats and stuff like that.
Well, and like that came from a kid on Twitter who just started drawing up little fan art, and it's like, hey, I made a bat, it's cute, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And so then I'm like, dude, let's work together, let's make some, let's do some things. And so yeah, I mean, that's one of those things that just kind of like you can't ever, you can only ever hope for. It just fell on my lap, and I'm like, this is the best thing ever. Let's keep making, let's make more cool stuff. So yeah.
Cool. So what do you do? Like, what do you get up to when you're not making music as Vampire StepDad?
I like to make stuff. I like to build things, and I got a 3D printer when the pandemic started and got into all that stuff. And I'm really, it's the right time of year. I really like to decorate for Halloween. So I'm currently working on a bunch of foam tombstones. Like, actually, I got one right here. Making foam tombstones.
Oh,
I'm doing it in a really bad way, but I have to peel all this paper off now. But anyways, I like to make stuff. I'm into woodworking. Real people have commented like, "This is you have such stepdad hobbies." I'm like, yeah, deal with it. Yeah, love woodworking, love building stuff. There's just something so satisfying of, well, like with the 3D printer, something's broken and you print something and now it works, and you're like, I did that. Or your kid needs a desk for school. It's like, I'll make you a desk, and you build them a desk. You're like, I made that. So that's just yeah. I love customizing the world that I live in, and molding it to the things that I like. And when you build your own stuff, it's really easy to do that. So yeah, I like making stuff.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, because I've been seeing the progress of those tombstones as you've been posting them on. Like those are really good so far.
Thank you. Yeah, I started making those last year. When I was like, well, I got nothing else to do. And yeah, those have been a lot of fun, and fairly easy to make. And yeah, so I love Halloween, so that's why I made a whole album for it. But so yeah. Yeah. So I was gonna say too, because what is it? Music to haunt a house to. Yeah, songs to haunt a house to. Yeah. I really like to set up a spooky front yard, and so I was like, I should make music for like just environment. Not necessarily like songs, but like just for mood setting, and I was really happy with it. I've always wanted to put out another one. You know, there's some ideas creeping around in my computer, but maybe one day. We'll see.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So is there anything that you're working on right now, or any future plans for Vampire StepDad?
Yeah, so on October 1st, I've got Sanguine. My new album is coming out. I'm really excited about it. You know, I had a real hard time writing through the pandemic, and you know, I was watching other people flourish and put out album after album, and I went almost a year without being able to write music at all. Like I couldn't figure out how to make music happen anymore. And that was actually like huge, like, you know, personal crisis, because I've been making music for, you know, 25 plus years. The idea that I suddenly couldn't make music anymore was, you know, who am I? But then, you know, I kind of took the disciplined approach, and I set aside a specific time every week, and I went all super cheesy on it, and like I would turn out the lights, and I'd light candles, and I like to say I would woo my muse. Well, you know, because like I want to be able to write music, but then like at the times where I was trying to write music, I would just sit down and start plunking away at the keyboard for like 5 minutes, and then if a masterpiece didn't come out, I was like, ugh, I can't even do this anymore, or whatever, you know. So it's kind of like, it was kind of disrespectful to my creativity, you know. Like I'm just like, hey, creativity, dance, you know. And so I kind of looked at it as, all right, let's turn the lights down low and put on some candles and say, hey, creativity, let's get it on. And honestly, within like, you know, I did that I basically set aside 2 hours a week, and I'd have to work for 1 hour. And if it was working, I could continue on. If not, then I'd give up after an hour. And by the third week, things were just working. The juices were flowing. And so I kept doing that. And that's where Sanguine came from. And so Sanguine's a real, you know, my last album, The Sun Also Sets, was a lot more somber than most of my releases. Mm-hmm. And Sanguine is kind of the polar opposite. The pendulum has swung the other way. Because I was really thinking like, okay, when we're done with all this, I want to go out and play music in front of as many people as I can. And so I was like, all right, I want to make music to dance to, make music that people are going to want to see live. And so that's what Sanguine is. It's upbeat, and it's hopeful, and it's optimistic. And so, yeah, that comes out in just a couple weeks, and I'm really excited about it. Yeah, it's going to be good. So.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, because I remember, like I remember you even had that in the notes for The Sun Also Sets. How yeah, like it is very like very mellow, kind of like, yeah, just like almost kind of like a sad, like kind of a sad, kind of somber album. So yeah, that's it. And interesting how like you swung the other way, because I know like with the some of the promotional stuff you've been doing for Sanguine, how like you have like the definition of Sanguine, and part of that is like, you know, very like bright and cheerful and happy, but also, you know, blood.
Yeah. Well, yeah, when I looked at the definition for the word sanguine, the fact that it's like optimistically hopeful, you know, in spite of current circumstances, and then blood red. It was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Like this, it's like they made up this word for Vampire StepDad. So, because even on the more somber album, there's still a hope thread through all of that, you know, still a hopeless optimist. So, that definition is just like nuts. So that's kind of the theme of the album. The album art, you know, uses the definition and stuff. So, it's gonna be really good. I'm really excited about it. And you know, hopefully I'll be able to get out there and run around and bring this music to people around the country and in the world.
Yeah. That's really cool. I'm extra looking forward to that. Extra looking forward to that now.
Sweet.
Yeah. Well, was there anything else that you wanted to like add or promote or anything?
Not really promote. I mean, add. I just say, you know, hey, look for the. You know, Mr. Rogers says, look for the helpers, you know, look for the good in the world. There's plenty of crap. But, you know, there's amazing things out there all the time. And I think you find that in other people. I just, the connections that we can make with each other, one way is with music. And, it's changed my life, and I think it's changed a lot of people's lives. And, keep hope alive and look for the light over the horizon. So, yeah. Keep being awesome.
Yeah, very cool. That's a great way to look at it. Because it's interesting how even like with TV shows, with shows like Ted Lasso, where like I feel like we're kind of moved from this cynical, ironic sense of humor to like something that's like very like, earnest and genuine. So yeah, that's a great way to look at it.
Yeah. You got to in this day and age. So.
Oh yeah, ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. And and be sure to check out Sanguine out on October 1st.
Yep, that'll be good.
All right, cool. Well, thank you very much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thanks for watching. That was my conversation with Vampire StepDad. Be sure to check out his music on Bandcamp, Spotify, and more, and follow him on social media. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at PatrickKingArt. Make sure to follow the SYNTHWAVE Ultra playlist for tons and tons of synthwave of every kind. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to this channel for more great synthwave conversations. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time on SYNTHWAVE Ultra.